The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. Second best time is today.
Would you like to be a part of the conversation we're having about generational voting?
We're doing a documentary on generational voting practices.
All right. So what is Generation Y?
So if you were born in the late 70s, early 80s, or 90s, then you're part of Generation Y, right? And what is it, 83 million of us now? We're the largest, most diverse generation.
Apparently only 20% of us are actually engaged in the political process. What do you guys think about that?
That's like really, really low for people who have the ability to vote.
I don't vote, and the reason why I don't vote, that's my political protest.
This is the first year where I'm honestly like, I might not vote, which is, that feels very, like the weight of that is kind of surprising.
I really don't vote either. It's like, how do we get more voters to pay attention to something that's really boring? Honestly, I mean, it's important, but I mean, there's no like explosions or anything happening, so like nobody's like really paying attention to it.
Not only boring, but also very broken. You're just participating in something that's really ineffective. I just assumed that other people were taking care of it and were voting.
We created this narrative of making, I think, the political process a abstraction, like an abstract thing for a lot of people.
So many of us complain about different issues going on in our country, but we don't take the second to vote.
Complaining highlights the problems, but doesn't necessarily bring about solutions.
Right.
People say like our votes don't matter and our votes don't count. If everyone's gonna say that, then like no one's vote will actually end up mattering in the end.
We don't believe that we have the potential to make a difference.
A lot of us don't really believe that our vote matters. A lot of our generation is politically aware, but a lot of us are also apathetic.
I think a lot of young people don't realize that we have a lot of power.
The challenge is trying to form a new narrative of understanding, like, no, this is actually not the case at all. You could actually participate on politics, especially at a local level, and let it stem from that.
Do you guys vote locally at all?
I don't, no. I only vote at the largest level. Why not? I'm not sure. Nobody in my family votes at every single level, so I don't think that I'm used to it.
Like locally, it's just like whatever. I mean, if you're there, you have the time, you might as well knock it out, but it's not as important. Yeah, most of us do mainly focus on the presidential.
It's more than the presidential race. We have the means and the power to participate in local elections, and that does affect the House race, it does affect the Senate races, and yes, we have our government, but we are the government.
But then again, how long does that take? People want instant gratification, people want a remedy right now. Like, what can I do to fix things that would help things out right now?
People were more focused on the local level, then I think you'll see much quicker change.
I think like on a micro level, your vote will matter more.
I vote at municipal elections. I vote at every opportunity that I can.
We need to make local change. Who becomes the next president doesn't affect my everyday life, but understanding who the mayor is, understanding local officials right here in New York City, that is how we make a change.
You're actually in the middle of it. And in fact, you could like run yourself.
It's like, what's more important, this presidential election or these seats that are up for grabs next year?
Well, I mean, there's not really any coverage, right, for local elections or anything like that? I mean, what if we had that?
So you have the judicial, the legislative, the executive, and then the media. It's like the unofficial fourth. So what I'm noticing nowadays is that we have an unofficial fifth, which is social media, So that's another part of the system of checks and balances, because obviously nowadays we can't trust the popular media.
It can check and balance everything. So there's a lot of power there.
Think about how much stuff that we could all get done if we all knew about the importance of voting locally. And I think that's where the power of social media will come in, if we can use it right, is to say, hey guys, get out there and vote.
We need to really be intelligent with what we post and how we post.
No one really posts peaceful statements about their political views. It's usually like, here's what I believe and everyone else is a jerk.
You can get a direct response from the public, opposed to being on big media platforms where as though you really can't hear anyone's response to it. It's just out there. And most of the larger media outlets are very biased, and you can see it. So social media gives us more of a voice because we can kind of make it our own.
what this falls down to is us. This is our responsibility. It's on our shoulders.
There's only 20% of people voting that we're not using and utilizing our political poll.
What have we learned from talking with so many young people? It's a very simple formula. You take the numbers we have as a generation, we shift our focus to a local level where we vote mayors, governors, congressmen, and women. And we use platforms like social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook to promote local candidates and put these people in office who best represent our generation. And what you'll see is more activity from our generation in the political process. And when that happens and our voter turnout grows, we will directly influence politics quicker and faster than ever before. And this is an idea that we can use to change the country.
The gentleman with the guitar, what would you do, sir?